I don't know what the biggest danger to Bitcoin is at this point. It's not. The thing is that you can say, well, what if the cryptography breaks, right? Well, they can switch to another algorithm, right? We can agree on a new cryptographic algorithm for doing what Bitcoin does already. Some people kind of say, oh, there's a possible quantum computing attack. Well, for starters, that's a theoretical attack. But I think people will be surprised to learn that we actually have cryptographic algorithms now that resist quantum computing attacks. So we've got a theoretical quantum computing attack, and it's already been addressed by some of the emerging cipher algorithms that are coming out right now. So even the quantum computing argument is dead at this point. There's an argument that if you take more than 50% of the mining power, you could destroy the currency. Well, yeah, but the mining network on Bitcoin is the largest supercomputer in the world. Like, no one entity could possibly generate enough mining power to overpower that network. It's just not possible. And so that argument's out. There's a paper that came out recently that had a theoretical attack that would be more like 20 to 30% of the Bitcoin network or something like that. That paper's kind of been dismissed as mostly theoretical. And even then, you still need 20 to 30% of the Bitcoin network. I mean, that's pretty insane. I mean, that's kind of impossible. There's an argument that governments could make Bitcoin illegal. But how can you make Bitcoin illegal? I mean, it's not possible. I mean, you can drive it underground, but with a private key with Bitcoin, you could take $1 billion, put it on a single private key. Actually, it doesn't even have to be a private key. It can be a brain wallet. It can be a password that you memorize in your head. And you can then go to another country and type out that password that you've memorized and pull out $1 billion worth of Bitcoins on the other side of the world. You could take a private key and you could embed it into a picture of a cat and then put it on a USB drive the size of your pinky and take it through customs. And they could take it and they could open it up and look at it. Oh, it's a picture of a cat. He's cute. He's like playing with a piece of yarn or something, right? But it has $1 billion key in it. I don't think it's possible to stop Bitcoin at this point. I actually don't. I can't think of a single thing that could destroy Bitcoin at this point. And I'm not saying that just because I'm kind of invested in Bitcoin's future. I'm a very honest person. If something's wrong with a system, I'll tell you what's wrong with it, even if I support and use that system. But I can't think of a single threat to Bitcoin at this point. I really can't. I mean, I guess Bitcoin could fall in value if a lot of people decide that they're not interested in Bitcoin anymore. But it's not. Look at how much money is in gold, and nobody uses gold for anything. Like, gold is not used. Have you ever seen a gold coin in your life, right? Like, and it still has a ton of money behind it, without being almost useless as a real currency. So if Bitcoin becomes 5% of gold, a Bitcoin will be worth like $30,000 or something. I'm kind of pulling the number out of my ass, but like, the value of Bitcoin could fall, right? But does that destroy Bitcoin? Does that stop what Bitcoin represents? There's some theory, there's some denial of service attack theories about Bitcoin, which they've solved by making it so you can't just dump junk transfers into Bitcoin without paying a fee. So there's everything that could possibly stop Bitcoin at this point has been addressed and resolved. Cryptologists and hackers have just beat the hell out of Bitcoin to try to figure out a way for them to break it. Because obviously if you break Bitcoin, that's some serious street cred. That's like the ultimate street cred for like a hacker or cryptologist. They've not been able to do it. And there's just nothing that can break Bitcoin at this point. I mean, it's really, I've heard another theory that somebody might, secretly control a bunch of the Bitcoins. There's all these kind of weird conspiracy theories too that I get. The FBI secretly is Satoshi, right? The guy that made Bitcoin is Satoshi. And they're going to, one day wake up and be like, oh, that was us. And then they'll have 20% of all the Bitcoins in production. But again, it's a conspiracy theory. There's no evidence to suggest that. And honestly, even if that was true, I mean, so what? It's still, so the government becomes a bigger investor in Bitcoin, right? Does that break the currency? Does that make Bitcoin useless? It doesn't break Bitcoin at all. And if there was some kind of like ownership problem with Bitcoin and people said, oh, I don't trust the people that own Bitcoins anymore, I don't, you know, you could create another cryptocurrency and use that. So there's really absolutely nothing that can stop Bitcoin at this point. I can't think of a single thing.